Thank you for joining us today on 344 Live, where we support sellers and job seekers. So stick around after the main event today to learn more about Dee Kachra's job search. And come back tomorrow to learn more about Dee Acosta's revenue role at Hockey Stack. And with that, I want to welcome everybody to the 34th episode of 344 Live here, March 29th, where I have Heidi Briones, but I never actually asked you how you pronounce your last name, so I totally made that up. Was that good?
Yeah, that was actually perfect. Yeah.
Awesome, because I'm sure I completely butchered Dee's last name. Yeah, but that's just how it goes sometimes, right? So,
yeah.
All right, I'm gonna click to join live on my own personal profile so I can watch what's happening. And looks like we have an audience here, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to overlay the chat because that's more fun. Because sometimes we actually get people who pipe in here from YouTube, and so then if we overlay the chat, then we'll capture them as well, and we can see them and talk to them and all that good stuff. So Gretchen, thank you so much for coming in and joining us today. Dee is also in the house, so we're going to be hearing a little bit from her, and she's going to come in right around 4:00, which gives us about 15 minutes or so to talk to Heidi and learn a little bit more about, running this SMB consultancy that you've got going around sales and revenue and how to make money and all that good stuff. So let's just kick it off. Let's just get into it. All right. So Heidi, we figured out that we have no idea how we came to know each other. Don't know, don't remember, don't care. But you are down in Portland, Oregon, and that is not terribly far from me. And I want you to know that on top of my head, we've got Jeremiah and Brooke and Susanna and a former colleague named April and like a whole bunch of people are down there. So if you ever want introductions to these linky types, be happy to cook up a PDX style meeting. All right. So now you've got this business, and I want to hear because you're one woman shop, and who are you calling on? Who's your client?
Right. Well, I started it last year. It's called Lady Polaris, and it's sort of meant to be people's North Star. And I'm female, so that's the lady, and so that's sort of what I think. It just really came about because people were asking me for specific advice or my experience in sales over the last decade or so in different fields. And I have a particular style that some people tend to resonate with. It's a bit more relaxed and natural method of selling, and just more attraction based and less hype and high energy and pressure type of old school sales. And some people liked it, so saw that I could help them and do a little bit of coaching or a little bit of operations, building playbooks, writing sequences, some copywriting, fun stuff like that, for people that my content resonates with, or they like my style and they want to learn from what I've learned. And so it just kind of came about naturally. And right now doing some stuff with Josh Braun, some sales coaching, which is super fun. We have a cohort starting soon, and probably do another one. And then doing some stuff with Jesse Oulette around APIs and automation on that side of things, the sales tech side. And it's just really fun. I'm just working with a lot of cool people, and if people reach out to me, if things resonate and they need help, I'm happy to talk about it and see if I can support them. But it's just me, so I mean, nothing crazy that I can do. I can't really handle a whole lot, but I just I'm enjoying it. And I worked for a few different companies, but I'm really enjoying doing my own thing and having more flexibility with the type of work I do.
Okay. So my mouth is like literally agape. I'm just like, oh, okay, because you said so many cool things, right? Like all this like everything cool you're doing, right? And I get all excited about that. So I did promise I was going to ask you about Jesse Oulette. So tell me about that, and then I want to actually back up just a smidge, because you've got all these services, right? All this competency. How do you and I know there's a lot of us out here who are, solopreneurs or solo whatevers out here, right? And like Nathan, he wants to be a coach, and Gretchen's got her own consultancy going, and just off the top of my head, right? So like how do you monetize that? Like, how do you say, oh, well, I'm going to charge this for that and this, because you don't have like a rate card, right? You kind of gotta, like, how do you approach it? I don't need to know how much you charge, but like how do you?
Sure. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, it's tough. I mean, if I'm talking to an SDR, it's a different conversation than if I'm talking to a VP of sales that has a sales team and they want me to come in and train or build a playbook or write some sequences. I mean, those are different conversations, right? It's like B2B versus B2C.
Yeah.
And obviously I want to help SDRs, so I don't charge as much if they need help and I feel like I can help them. If I feel I can, I just don't. And then I try to offer them as best that I can do for my time, and whatever makes sense. And, if I enjoy working with somebody, if I think they're super cool and fun to work with, and I really think I can help and it's a pleasant experience, then great. If I really don't want to do it, then, they might get the highest rate. There you go. Like, I really don't want to do this that bad, but I'll give you this number. So I don't have a rhyme or reason. It's sort of intuitive right now.
Okay.
And, yeah, I should probably get more organized with that, but so far it's working and it's pretty fun.
Hey, if it's working, don't fix it, right? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So you actually will work with individual SDRs, like who might be employed by another company, or do you work for the SDR manager? Like, how does that?
I mean, I don't do a ton of the one-on-one coaching. It's not, something I'm like actively promoting or anything. Yeah. I mean, as far as I'm doing a partnership with Josh, as I mentioned, and we have, things that we can do together as far as for sales teams. But if somebody comes to me, if they see, my live stream or they hear one of my cold calls or they attend a webinar and they reach out to me, then I'm happy to talk to them and see if I can help. But I'm not actively pursuing those opportunities or anything or marketing myself in that manner. Gotcha. More like working for businesses, more B2B. Type of things where I can make kind of a larger impact on an organization and help multiple people. But certainly if somebody, likes me, if they want one-to-one, then I'm open to it.
Okay. Right on. Okay. So in terms of the types of businesses that you tend to work with, like how would you describe them?
Mostly startups that are either looking to break into like North America, for example, from Europe. Or they're just at a kind of critical phase where maybe they don't have like leadership exactly like set up. They don't have maybe a manager. They don't have a director. Some levels kind of missing where they need some support building out a playbook and building out resources for BDRs, or building out some coaching. That's kind of where I like to come in if there's some kind of gap in the business that I can fill on a fractional level and get everybody kind of up to speed and get them over that hump.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay, cool. So I really want to know about your relationship with Jesse Oulette, but I'm gonna put that kind of at the back because I want to get some other questions answered first. So if I hire you, right? If I'm a business, I'm a founder, or maybe I'm on the leadership team or whatever, and I need help like building out this playbook or this BDR support, like how does that work? If I mean, do you like do a bid? Do you come in? Do we talk on the Zoom for?
I'd want to talk to somebody, see what they had already, do an audit, take a look at what they already have going. If there's anything, if it's nothing, then I would tell them what I do and how I would generally set things up and what I could provide. If they have some things, then I would be like, okay, what do you need the most? Where are the gaps here? And then, usually I'd come back to them with some kind of, offer, either monthly or like a one-time deal. Maybe they just need some sequences written and, come out with a number, depending on what they want and the level that they require and my knowledge too. If I don't know the industry very well, I won't take it. I'll just, refer to somebody else that can help. But if it's something I feel comfortable with and I know that I could do it, then great. I'll just, come up with it based on what they need. And it just varies so much. So it's very hard to say. I think that some mistake that people make in their business is actually being too firm on price, especially when they're a solopreneur. Because if it's like, hey, it's whatever, it's $5,000 for this. And then you find out that's actually a lot more work than what you thought it was. So, I think that you have to kind of be a bit flexible and really like understand that before you just send somebody a payment page and and then they pay you and now you're stuck in this thing that maybe you shouldn't have been in. So I think you have to be a little bit careful with your time and kind of be flexible with structuring.
That's interesting, because you actually kind of brought that up a little bit at the beginning of saying like one of the reasons that you kind of got into this was that people really kind of liked your approach to selling, right? They liked how you were relaxed, you weren't pushy, you didn't kind of bring this sort of high energy thing, and and as sellers, right, we all bring our own whatever we bring ourselves to the table.
Yeah.
And now you're also talking about saying like, look, I'm also living the real world where I got to be flexible. I can't just hit that, right? So do you see that kind of flexibility as sort of your differentiating factor out here in a world full of lots of consultants?
Maybe. I think I have a lot of differentiating factors. I think that people look into my background. I have a background in education and politics, and as well as sales. I mean, I've traveled all over the world, and I think that depends on, what they're looking for. I think that I could fill gaps in lots of different ways. But yeah, I think that flexibility can be important, and if people appreciate that, then that's my pipeline in a way. My pipeline is my relationship, so I'm looking at things more long term than short term at this stage. Previously in my life, I might have just been like, let's just pop sales really quick if I was at that stage. But now I'm like, I just want relationships that last a long time, and I don't want to burn anybody, and I don't want to be burned. And that's just sort of like, I just want it to be a natural flow.
Yeah. Right. So are you finding your clients to stick with you now? Are you having more sort of long-term clients, or are they kind of
I don't really want long-term clients, to be honest. It's not ideal for me. I'm more like a come in, fix a problem and kind of get out of there. And if you got another problem again in the future, then come back. But I'm not really interested in longer term necessarily, like maybe 1 to 3 months, or just project by project or hour by hour. So I'm not really looking at things beyond that. It's just I find that the impact that I can have is when there's a hump, or like when there's something to overcome. There's just that, and then once it's done, they're pretty much ready to go, and they can rock and come back if they need me again or not. Yeah.
Okay, right on. All right, so I want to ask about this, what you're cooking up with Jesse. I'm super intrigued. Yeah. So can you kind of flesh that out for a minute or two?
Yeah, so for sure. I mean, Jesse just has been making this really interesting content around APIs and automation, and that's something that I've been working on getting better at. I certainly have a long way to go, but when I see his videos, I try to, pick up what he's teaching, and I just kind of had an idea after watching a bunch of them and just brought it to his attention. I was like, hey, I want to learn some of this stuff. Super nice guy and really generous with his knowledge and always sharing stuff for free. But I think other people want to learn it too, from what I'm seeing in the comments. Like, how about this? Like, we can make some really interesting content where like you kind of teach me things and we kind of build on it. And like, I'm a beginner, I'm like a novice, and we just start with like very basic APIs and automations that I think any SDR or BDR or all the way up to VP of sales can use in their processes to make things easier and cheaper. I mean, a lot of these tools, people are paying thousands of dollars a month for things that you can do for free or very cheap if you know a little bit about APIs, and that's kind of what Jesse's been trying to do. So he was like pumped on it, and we're going to do just a series of like him kind of teaching me, like explain it to me like I'm 5 type of stuff, where it's like, just people will set in what do you want to do with automation, and I'll just kind of take their ideas and we'll go through it. So we did one today. So we'll see. We're editing the video and it should come out soon. But we're just going to start with the basics and work our way up, and hopefully people love it and have more ideas for us to share, and they'll watch me learn. You get to watch me learn and learn with me.
Yeah, right on. I'm gonna find that and follow that, because I'm totally into that. I used to like just dream about API mashups and stuff, and integrating data from different sources.
Really, dream?
It's serious. It's I know I'm not exaggerating. I'm 100%.
No, it's really, I do too. Honestly, like when I see things work together the way that Jesse does, I was just like, oh my gosh, I need that. I need that, and it takes me a long time, but like learning from an expert. That's what people come to me for. So that's what I was kind of going to him for. And it's like, hey, let's make this content that was so like exciting and fun for me, and everybody should see me learning live. It'd be cool. Yeah.
Well, if he's listening or tunes into this at some point, because we're talking about him. So for all you guys in the audience here, Gretchen, Dean, Dee, and Nathan. So we're talking about Jesse Oulette, and he's like this, what I knew about him or have known about him, he got interviewed by Adam Mandarovich on Better Business Building on podcast. And Adam and I are friends. He's out of Australia. But Jesse came in and he said, look, getting your email delivered into the inbox is every bit as much an algorithm as getting your post viewed, right? Or SEO, right? And it's like you have to know how to crack that algo, as it were. And that really just kind of put me on my butt. I was like, are you okay? And it really revolutionized how I was thinking about email in general. And I haven't done anything with it other than just to sit there and say, oh, right. like that's such a great concept. And he owned it. And I think he's, that's the basis of his approach to at least one of the businesses that he's been doing or working on or whatever. So I'm excited that you guys are talking, and I'm gonna follow along and get to know him better.
Please do. He's doing all kinds of things. I can't keep up. He's all over the place. But email deliverability is kind of where I started following him, and then this whole API world kind of opened up. So really excited to learn from him and see what happens and see if we can help some other people just automate some of the boring stuff they're doing and have more time to enjoy themselves.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So while we're waiting for Dee to pop in here, and she should be in here any minute, I did promise that I would ask you for a tip of the day so that our audience can learn something from you. Okay. So that's what we want right now. So I'm going to say, are you ready? And you're going to say yes. And I'm going to say, let's go. And then when you're done, I'm going to say, we're going to take that to the bank. Okay. All right. Okay. So are you ready?
Yes.
Let's go.
Tip of the day is be yourself and only do things that make you feel alive, and money and success and other things will flow to you naturally. Just resist any sort of resistance and just go with the flow.
Okay, so go with the flow, go with what makes you excited and happy and you can do, and we are going to take that to the bank. Thank you so much, Heidi. We actually, now we have Dee. Dee literally just popped in on the spot, no problem here. And I'm going to say welcome to Dee, hopefully. There we go. Hello, Dee. How are you?
Hi, guys. I'm doing good. Thank you.
Awesome. So I want to just say, I was so stoked yesterday when you said, yes, I'll be on the Hotness Unleashed show. And yes, I want to get on live before that, so I know what this is about. So Dee, tell me, is this your first go at a live event, or because I know you're in the comments all the time?
No, actually, I joined Wendy Wiseman when she was doing the show at 10 o'clock. Yep. Obviously, you can tell I'm a night owl because your early show is my late time. Wendy's late show is my it's late for me. So I join in very much later in the day.
Okay. Yes, because I like to go live randomly at night. Did you happen to catch us last night, by the way?
Yes, I was there.
Oh, you were there. Okay, because that was such a chaotic, crazy 45 minutes of my life. My head just about blew up. Heidi, I just every once in a while I go live sort of spontaneously, and you never know who's going to show up. And so all these people showed up, and they were just giving me grief in the comments and giving each other grief, and it was loads of fun. And so thank you for being there, Dee. I love it so much. Okay, so we are not here to talk about me, even though I sort of endlessly do that. You're looking for a job, so tell us about that. Tell us how that's going. What are you looking for?
So I'm looking for a job. Yes, a job seeker. Yeah. I'm looking for a customer success manager, customer success associate, something along that line, because I have an extensive background. So I started my career in supply chain.
Okay.
And I graduated from college in materials management, and my first job, supply chain at Honeywell. And then I moved to Atlanta, and I became a consultant after that with the same domain expertise. And then I moved went to Europe. I pretty much dropped everything and I went to Europe and became an ESL teacher. And when I came back, I really didn't know what to do. So I became ESL teacher, substitute teacher, and I'm like, 30 kids, teaching them all at the same time was just not for me. For me.
Okay.
So along the same line, I became a speech therapist because I love to teach. I love to break down material into little bite-sized pieces that you can understand.
Sure.
And so I became a speech therapist, and now I want to put it all together and become a customer success manager, associate, something along that line.
Okay. All right. Well, that sounds exciting. Have you had any really good leads or some good interviews, or how's the market taking that offer?
The market was really good last year, but it's
Yeah.
not anymore. And I was just pretty much taking my time. Last year I was just like, I think I'll take a break. I was really upskilling. I wanted to develop my skills, understand it more. And pretty soon, by the time September, I joined a class, a cohort to understand it more. By the time November came, okay, we're in the holidays. Okay, now we're in January. Well, there's not that many jobs as there were last year. So it's been a little bit tough, but I'm a little bit more active now than I was last year.
Okay. Okay. So are you looking for something in Atlanta, or are you looking for something remote, or what's that?
Either or, really. I don't, on-site, remote, hybrid, whichever one comes along.
Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, the reason I ask about Atlanta is I don't know if you know Brandon Lee, but he and I are friends, and he's based in Atlanta, and he's always starting businesses and stuff, and he's got to know somebody who knows something about customer success. Now, what verticals are you interested in? Are you want to be in tech, or are you something else?
Yeah, so pretty much in tech. My domain expertise would be supply chain, obviously.
Okay.
That would be great. If not, that's fine. It doesn't have to be. Health tech would be another one because I worked in the hospital system. I work with EMRs, EHRs, all that part of it. So that would be fine as well. Educator, somewhat, not as much, but that's okay. And anything that would utilize my skills, really, pretty much relationship building, collaboration, working with software development, all that stuff is fine with me.
Okay, gotcha. What level are you looking to come in at?
I'm looking pretty much at entry level because it's a new environment for me, and I've not been afraid of entry level, mid level, whichever level really. But pretty much I would have to start at the bottom again.
Okay. So Julia Enthoven here, who just commented, she's a player. All right. So she is in charge of Capwing, which is a tool that I use to run all kinds of stuff. So I would definitely take her up on that and get to know her. And do you know Marissa Speranzi? I'm going to send you to her because she was in the similar. Well, I don't know, similar. Actually, she was more at a sort of senior level customer success job search, and kind of, it doesn't sound to me like you're too terribly stressed at this moment, but she was pretty stressed and was able to land a pretty sweet gig, and has kind of went through that in customer success. So I'd be thrilled to introduce you to her. And she's not super on LinkedIn as much as she was last summer, but still was a great ally and is a great ally. So be happy to do that. So, and how else could we be supportive to you and your search here?
I'm not really sure. I mean, obviously praying, whatever it is, just applying out there is really not working. But okay. I am building my network. Okay. So in Atlanta, we've now started in-person customer success meetups. So we're having one every month, which is great. You meet people there. Coffee chats are going on in person in Atlanta. So those are awesome as well. I'm trying to meet people in person, or I do a lot of coffee chats as well. So that seems to be working well as well. But it takes time. It is networking. It is getting to know people. It is hitting, you apply for the job, trying to figure out who the hiring manager is, or just knocking on doors. Sometimes they open, sometimes they don't. But, yes, you're right. I'm not as stressed. And I was just pretty much taking my time. Last year, I was just like, okay, whatever. We'll just see. But when the economy went down, then it was like, okay, maybe I need to relook things again.
Okay. Well, you know what? I want to say So I'll offer you. I'll make an introduction to Marissa and Brandon Lee, because those are two people that I know. And then I know a couple other people in customer success as well who may be helpful, who have been, Jen Young is another person who I know, and so she's like super amazing. From there, I'll just kind of keep you, top of mind. You're going to be on the Hotness Unleasher show in a couple weeks, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
And you're going to meet like a bajillion people, so that'll be fun. And I guess just keep going, keep getting after it. And one of the most fun things is to super celebrate when you actually land something. And I will say, because this is 344 Live after all, that one of the people who I profiled or I had here as a job seeker of the day, she got a job. So
yeah, that is fabulous.
Lisa Renee Pence, she landed a pretty sweet gig. So you never know, right? You never know who might be listening and who might have a need, who likes your countenance and kind of how you come across and how you explain yourself and what your history looks like. You never know what that unique fit could be.
You just never know.
You never know. So thank you for coming out, Heidi. Thank you for explaining your background and your story. And I want to introduce you to all of my friends who are down in Portland and live vicariously through your parties. Sure. That I'm sure you're going to have, because why wouldn't you? Because they're all awesome people. And I have this feeling you would really like Susanna Dawn with your, the Polaris thing, because she's sort of into that sort of energy. And awesome. Yeah, so I'll make sure to make that connection, and I'll probably forget half of them. So but I can go back and listen to this because we're recorded. All right. So I can't forget what I committed to. All right, with that, we're gonna have our count up timer, and that will be the signal for everybody to go home and move on to other things. So there's Whiskey Wednesday is tonight. I'm pretty sure that Brian Segre is doing something right now as we speak. So he's got a live that's happening, and that guy's all over the place. So go catch what he's doing. And with that, I'm going to say good night, everybody. Have a great afternoon, great evening, great morning, wherever you are in the world, and best wishes, and you're all the best. All right, take care.
Bye, guys.
Bye.